Amina's day began like any other at the emergency dispatch center. Her workstation, cluttered with notes and a mug that read, "Good luck finding better," was her command post. 10-8 in service, she muttered, settling into her chair and logging into the system. The screen lit up with a map of the city, dots representing various emergency units at her disposal. The radio crackled to life. 10:57, firearm discharged at Central Park. Responding units proceed to the scene. Copy that, Amina replied, swiftly coordinating the closest patrol cars. Units 1097 proceed to Central Park. 1020 Central Park. A moment later, another call came through. 1046, sick person at 5th and Main, ambulance needed. 10-4, dispatching ambulance now. Unit 1141, proceed to 5th and Main. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, updating statuses and relaying information. 1043, call a doctor. 1045B, condition of the patient is serious. Just as Amina was catching her breath, a new call came in. The voice on the line was frantic, almost incoherent. 1033, alarm sounding. My husband, he collapsed. I don't know what to do. Amina's demeanor shifted to calm professionalism. 1033, stay calm. I need you to listen carefully. Where are you right now? At home. 122 Oak Street. He's not breathing. Please, help. 10-4, emergency services are on their way. I need you to check if he's breathing. Can you do that for me? There was a moment of silence, then a shaky response. I think he's not breathing. What should I do? Okay, listen carefully. Place your hand on his chest and push hard and fast. 2 inches deep at a rate of 100 to 120 compressions per minute. Do you understand? Yes, I'm doing it. 1045C, condition of the patient is critical. Ambulance unit 1141 is en route to 122 Oak Street. They'll be there as fast as possible. Amina continued to speak with calm assurance. Keep going with the compressions. The ambulance will arrive soon, and they'll take over. You're doing great, just keep it up. The caller's breathing began to steady, and Amina could hear the sounds of sirens approaching in the background. 1097 arrived at the scene. 1098 available for assignment. Amina watched the screen as the ambulance unit arrived and took over the scene. She took a deep breath and looked up at David. David approached with a warm smile, carrying 2 cups of coffee. You make this look effortless, Amina, he said, handing her the one with a generous layer of milk foam. I thought you might need a little extra comfort today. Amina gave a modest shrug. Years of practice, and some days are easier than others. David studied her with a curious gaze. I've seen you handle things that would upset most of us. How'd you manage? Amina smiled, though her eyes held a glimmer of something unspoken. You just focus on what's in front of you. That's all anyone can do. David nodded, still intrigued, but accepting her response. Well, I guess you're a pro at this for a reason. Amina's smile faded as she returned to her screen, her thoughts lingering on unshared burdens. As the calls slowed down, and the sun began to set, Amina took a moment to reflect. Her eyes wandered to a small framed photo on her desk of a purple planet. She looked at it with a hint of sadness. She was reminded of her past, a duty she had once failed. It was her mission to stop the bright lights, the abductions. She hadn't believed it could be true until it was too late. She had carried the guilt ever since. Eventually, Amina did put an end to it. She could have gone home then, but she chose to stay, working tirelessly in the emergency dispatch center. 1021A, advise home that I will return at 10 p.m., she said into the radio. Home, she thought, a sad smile appearing on her face for a moment. Just as she was about to log off, a final call came in. 1050, subject under the influence of narcotics at 7th and Elm. 10-4, dispatching units now, she responded, her voice unwavering. As the units moved out, Amina watched on the screen, ensuring they reached the scene safely. 1079, arrived at the scene, an officer reported. 1098, available for assignment, she whispered, knowing her shift was almost over. An officer came in, nearly crying. He lived. Thank you. It was the woman she had talked to earlier on the phone. She had just done her job. This time. Amina leaned back in her chair. The room was quiet again, save for the occasional crackle of the radio. She glanced at her mug and smiled. In the quiet of the night, she looked up at the sky, her eyes reflecting the light of distant stars. 107A, out of service at home, she murmured, knowing that her real home was much further away.